Faith over fear, love over ignorance, compassion over cowardice, help over hurt, hugs over hate, Christ over country. In my life, because of who I was born as, I've had many labels and judgments made against me. One of the earliest and scariest memories was the day my younger brother Ernest and I walked to the Kingsville Public Library to return some books that I had borrowed. I had read their entire collection of the Hardy Boys, and I had started Nancy Drew. They were just as good. On our way there was a kitten that followed us. We tried to shoo it away, but it persisted on getting closer to us and going all the way to the library. Step by step, it followed us all the way from this neighborhood. We had to walk through all the way to the front door of the library. Of course, we couldn't take the kitten inside. We didn't want to. We went inside. The kitten stayed outside as if waiting for us. To that point, I had never had such a devoted pet, though this kitty was not our pet, nor did we want it to be. But on the way home, we carried it because it did not seem to want to walk back to where it first found us. On the way towards the library, a man was outside watering his front lawn. He looked at us. And so on the way back, the same man had changed into his uniform and gotten in his patrol car. And he sharply cut in front of us at an alley near his house, scaring the daylights out of us. He questioned where we had left the kitten. We said we took it back to the place where we met it, and it followed us to the library, but we wanted to make sure it got back to its home. He was very menacing, not at all friendly. His intent was to scare us. And he wasn't really believing what we were saying. I was about 10 years old. My brother Ernie was about 5. We were both very scared. I knew myself to be a gentle person who already loved and followed Jesus, but at that moment I felt like a criminal, accused of stealing a kitten, a pet that my father would never have allowed in our home, for we were avowed dog people at that time. He finally let us go, but not without leaving an impression on us, and I would say not a very positive one. My first week in Houston public schools, I was called a name I had never heard before. And that afternoon when I got home, I asked my mother about it and what that name meant. She told me it was not a good name, and the boy who called me that was being racist. I didn't quite know what a racist was at the time, but I was getting a pretty good idea. I went to college in East Texas, and the fun run-ins I had there just because I was brown are too numerous to list. I was already aware of how out of place some people took me to be just for being alive in the piney woods of East Texas. And when I transferred into the Southwest Texas Annual Conference from the Spanish-speaking Rio Grande Conference, I found out who my true friends were and who were more comfortable with me being in another conference than in theirs. One colleague whom I thought was a true brother told me that he told me off for my being appointed to a church in San Antonio, a place he had longed for his whole time in his ministry and being in the conference. And here I was, a newcomer, and got sent to a plum location. I wanted to remind him that I did not make the appointments and that if he had a problem with it, he should talk to the bishop. And the list continued. But friends, the label I'm most proud of is the one I was called to and for which I worked hard to attain. Minister and pastor of the Lord Jesus Christ, whose very life, Jesus' very life, was an example to love those who hated him and to pray for those who persecuted him. He didn't say it would be easy, but I was called to be set apart. and to live a life that modeled his. I will be the first to say I am not perfect, and I'm guilty of being a human with feelings and fears, just like other humans. I can also say I did not have an audience with God prior to my birth and requested to be born as what I was born. But I'm thankful and proud to have had the people in my life who gave life to me and raised me and loved me, and all the people I have encountered in my life who have blessed me with love, acceptance, and understanding. And it's been that which makes what I sign in every devotional true and meaningful. I always try to say I love you and I thank God for you, and which I truly do, and I mean it. And so, friends, go and love all people. Whatever was ingrained in your mind growing up, whatever you heard your parents or grandparents say, you don't have to be the same way. You can change that mindset. You can break those chains off. You can turn off those tapes and start recording love, acceptance, compassion, positivity, compassion, help, and love. Because I do love you and I do thank God for you. And as I say in my Con Café devotionals, you matter to God and you matter to me. Now, how will you matter to others by the way you've been living up to this point? And I'm not condemning you, but I'm just inviting you to go and make a difference in the life of someone. We can win the world for Jesus, and it starts right here in our hearts. Amen.